Hello, everyone, and it's good morning here in Pram Pram. This is 6 o'clock in the morning here in Pram Pram, and welcome back to the channel once again. So, in my previous videos, past few weeks, we've been talking about the Pram Pram project, right? But the focus has been on the subject matter, which is why are we building in Ghana. So, we didn't have much time to actually talk about what is happening, right? The labor part of this structure. So today's video, I'll be bringing back, the videos that we've already seen, and try to touch one or two things that the guys, there were some tips that we didn't talk about when it comes to labor and the main work itself, right? If you've been here for some time, you know that the subject was more about why we are building, why we should build, and what we need to do whilst we are building, right? So, back to the structure itself. I did some changes, right? So, if you watch my first episode of the Why We Are Building, I did mention that, the prices of the glasses are too much. So, I laid 3 course more to close the whole penthouse. That's how I call it, because you still have the view of the whole of Ningo, from Ningo to Tema, right? So, though it is a 3 level structure, but I call it a penthouse. So, this is the space, right? This is the space we are seeing, and I'm happy with the views as actually, right? I would love to actually have from floor to ceiling glass, right? But looking at the prices now, it's too much. So this will actually reduce the cost, right, in purchasing the windows, or I'll say the glass that will come here. And you still have the nice view. And another thing is also, I walk around the community, right, and I noticed that if I should make it from floor to ceiling, if people are walking around, they can see the bed, right? They can see the bed and all of that. So I decided to close there so that at least it covers the bed, right? So this is the space that we have. This is going to be the bedroom. And from where the pillar is now going is all the washroom. So we will have a bathtub sitting right here with the views. Picture windows, and all have you, right? So initially, my plan, for the 2025 with this structure was to focus only on the ground floor, because when I was done with the roofing, the target was just to do the ground floor, like put all the money in the, plaster the outside, only the ground floor, and then quickly do with the electricals, which electrical piping, which is already done. The plumbing piping is already done. So what I needed to do was just get the cables and, get the tiles and all of that POP works, and just start with the ground floor, so that my parent can move downstairs, or someone can move downstairs, whilst we take our time to finish the whole structure. But I did have a second thought, which was like, if we would have finished with the ground floor and we would have done some of the works, right, which is the plumbing works and also the electrical works, the cutting of the blocks and stuff, it will make a lot of mess. Like dust, right? It will cause a lot of dust, which might affect the windows, and also, the ground floor. It will affect some of the finishes that we will do there. So I decided that then I want to do all the works, the dirty works with the whole structure, right? All the works that can get the house dirty, right, from up to the ground. I want to do all of those works completely, and then when it comes to the finishes, so that is going to be like just inserting the windows, installing the doors, doing the POP works at every stage, painting at every stage. But then the outside, when you are outside, you see a whole structure completed, right? So that was the plan. That was the plan after going and seeing things myself. And if you see the cutting of the walls, right, with the plumbing and the electricals, it's a big mess. It's a big mess. It caused a lot of, dust and stuff. So that was the planning. So that is why I decided to do the plastering for all the outside, right? I should do all the outside plastering, right? And also the reason why I did the septic tank also was also because we need to connect all the plumbing pipes to the septic tank, and so that we could get the landscape beautifully done after we've painted the outside of the house, because I want the house to look completed from the outside, but when you go in there are still finishes to be done within within the structure, right? So that we could get the landscaping done and everything. Because actually, I'm not thinking of moving to Ghana anytime soon, right? And also, my parents are just going to be downstairs, or whoever is going to be downstairs is going to be there. This structure was just put up here in remembrance of my grandfather, so that whatever he puts, all the effort he did of buying this land wouldn't go to waste or wouldn't be occupied by strangers or foreigners. So that is why I came to actually help my father to put this structure here. So it is not like we need a place to sleep or we need something. That's why we are putting. But then my focus was the paint house. The view was the catch for me, right? So that is why I needed to go more levels. It costs a lot of money. It has taken, a lot of things backward, right? Because I have my own project, which is at Dowenya. It's still hanging there. If you go to my Dowenya playlist, my playlist called the Dowenya Project, you see what I'm talking about. It's still hanging in there, which has to be done, right? But thank God this project has gave birth to a company, right? Gigo Production Group, and through that we are all get works to do and all that, right? So we will also talk about the septic tank. As I was saying, I needed to connect all the pipes here. Then we can make the whole compound beautiful, right? So it's going to look beautiful, nice. And then the house is just going to be empty house, right? And to whom it may concern, if you want to finish something, you just go touch one room, finish it, leave in. And that's going to be the vibe from now on. But I'm explaining this so that you understand how we will be doing the finishes for this house. It's just going to be taking our time to do it right. So we want to go back to see how the septic tank, because I didn't really talk about what actually happened with the laboring work, right? So one thing that I would like to point is how we laid the blocks, right? So the blocks was laid flat, right? Which is something that most people don't do, right? When they are doing their septic tanks, they laid the blocks the normal way of laying blocks, right? Sometimes there's vibration in the earth, right? And sometimes also there's after the filling, right? The filling, if you don't take your time to do the filling, right? If you just pour the sand, put pressure, compact, it may push the blocks, and it may break, but you wouldn't know, right? You will be using your septic tank, and every 3 months you have to, take extract, right? You have to get a car to come and put out, the content away, and every 3 months, because it will get full quickly, because sometimes it breaks in. So the best way is to lay the blocks flat, right? And that will help. And also the filling also. So you can see we are doing filling whilst we are doing the plastering. You can see that it's not deep anymore, right? If you look at the edges, we are doing filling slowly whilst we are doing the plaster. So it doesn't put much pressure, right? The blocks are able to, I would say resist, is able to hold the pressure which is coming from the outside, materials, which is the filling, right? So that's one strategy that you have to. And also, whilst you are doing this, if you have water, you can be watering, it's for the compacting, right? We did this in the rainy season, which was very risky, but I needed to get it done because I wanted to know how the layout will be before, trying to invest further, right? I needed to, because to put the septic tank here has been a challenge, right? It has been front and back, but then we just wanted to just do it, right? So the length of the septic tank is 2 meters, 2.5 meters by 4.5 meters, right? So that is the septic. We have 3 chambers here as well, right? Doing your septic tank in the rainy season, I mean, it's very dangerous, right? But like I said, I needed to get this thing done. So we monitor the rain. After it rained 3 days in a row, then we start digging. So the digging it took us 4 days to get all of this thing done, right? So the digging was one day, and then a concrete casting was the same day as the digging, right? And then the second day was the block laying, right? The third day was was the plastering, right? So we did the plastering the third day immediately, and then the filling and everything, right, also came in. When it comes to the filling, also, this is the plus that we got, right? Because immediately we were done, right? We have to fill it around. We have to fill the surrounding, but then we didn't compact it. Sometimes people will get a compactor to actually do the compacting, but sometimes if you just leave it for the rain to do its thing, right? If you leave it for the rain to do its thing, I think it is the best way to go around it, right? Which this is something I've been preaching here on the channel. Always build with nature, time, the environment. We know the seasons, right? So if you go with it, but this was a risky thing, right? By doing it in the rainy season. But like I said, we have the timing. We wait for 3 days rain in a row, right? That means that then fourth day or the fifth day will be less rain, or there won't be any rain at all, right? So that was a strategy these are some of the things I've learned, working with Brother Sammy. These people have the experience in construction. So when you work with them, some of these things, they have a way of going around it, right? They always tell me build with nature, right? So when we were done, and then all of a sudden, here comes the rain, heavy rain. There was a heavy rain, but to us, it was a plus because actually we needed that water to do the compacting, right? Normally, you have to go and buy water to do the compacting, but in this case, the rain did the work for us, right? The rain came, it rained, right? And then it compacted the whole thing. Once again, a way of saving money if you work with well experienced people that have been, working for a longer time, right? It was recently Brother Sami was telling me he started working at the age of, before 18 years, right? He started working before 18 years. So, these are people who are well experienced. Sometimes when they tell you one or two things, you will ask questions, right? But they know what they are doing. It's not everything that they can explain to you, right? I know there have been challenges with some of the clients, but sometimes, I've also had my own share with him where sometimes he tells me this and I'm like, I want to do it the other way around, and then I will face the consequences. It comes, but always he comes there because I know I have him, so he will always come to my rescue. With the septic tank also, it was a challenge with him, and I have to go front and back, and I'm like, I just want to do it, and that's what happened, right? So uh, after we were done, you could see that the rain after the rain, you could see how everything was compacted. The earlier footage, you could see that the soil was up, but now you could see around it. When it rained, the water stays in the I'll just say at the bottom, right? The water stays there and then it drains down, slowly. So once again, nature doing its own thing. We don't need to hire any compactor. We don't need to put pressure on the walls, right, to compact it down. No, everything was done nicely, right? So we have Nee, who came, the steel bender. He came to do the installation of the iron rods. And also we have Efo, who did the carpentry work here, right? So that was the fourth day, right? They came to do the wood and the steel works the fourth day. And then the fifth day, we're doing a concrete casting. You can see the thickness of the casting, right? And also the color of the concrete tells you how rich, the cement are. the whole idea of this septic tank that is going to be underground, right? I mean, you're not going to see it. You can see the height of the structure, where the staircase starts and where the septic tank is. All of this thing is going to be covered, right? You won't see anything. If you look at the building where the step up, right, and where I mean, you can see the level from the structure. Everything is going to be covered. So if we don't tell you that there's a septic tank underneath the ground, you won't know, right? So you can park your car, you can do all kinds of stuff in there, right? So I mean, you can follow this process if you want to do your septic tank. I mean, it is expensive to lay the blocks, flat, because you need more blocks. But trust me, I mean, that is the way to go, right? So just pay attention to that, right? So this has been the process. I mean, after that, it's been several rain, right? It's been raining continuously, and I mean, God has been with us through this journey. I mean, everybody in the community comes and was like, they had no idea. I mean, it is just a miracle with everything that happened within that short possible time, and everything played right. Everything played like everything worked perfectly, as if we were just working with God, right? So since we finished with it again, I mean, after the 5 days of dry, the rain came again, back to back, and it is doing the compacting, right? My worried was about the failing, because I thought, the it since the ground was moving, I mean, it will put pressure on the blocks, but with the way the thing is going, so we will fill, the surrounding a little bit. We leave it, and then the rain comes and compact it, and then we will come and fill again, right? So you can see that the size of the sand has reduced, right? So that is how, it is going slowly. We are filling the ground, and hopefully, I mean, as of now, I believe that we've already covered this portion where, it's it was dangerous, right? So you can see from here, you could see after we've done the landscaping all the way to the forward, you won't see the septic tank anymore, right? So if you need, a team to do your septic tank for you, if you are, or even, how do I say it, a water reservoir, right? If you go to my playlist, we've done those at the beach house, we've done a reservoir, we've also done that with the amendment project, which is in Kpong. We did a water reservoir also, so that you can connect all the rain gutters, right, into that reservoir. Instead of letting it flow outside in the gutters to as waste, you can keep them here. Use it to water your garden, your plants, use it to wash your cars, for your washing. Or I mean, you can just give it out in the community. If you're not going to use it, you can just put a tap on it and motor. And I mean, when there's no water in the community, you can help people with it. I mean, it will cost you about 60,000 Ghana cedis to get like a water reservoir done, right? But I mean, it will help a lot of people, generations, for so many years to come, right? And also the community. If you are someone who likes to help, you can also do that. I mean, I'm looking at doing that also in the future, right? So since we are done with all the work outside, like I said, some of this works is mess. It's a mess, right? So we have to do all the electrical cutting and fitting, right? So that we get rid of all the dirty works, with this structure, and then it's going to just be finishes, right? So doors fix, tile fix, POP fix, and then we will be taking it step by step. So we have our electrician here who is doing the cutting, which I mean, from my next episode, you will be seeing some of the finished works. We'll also talk to him to explain the concept here. I mean, with the second floor, I don't have any plan. I just want to keep it open, right? Just do electrical plastering, maybe do the Andre, keep it all white and keep it open, right? Because when it rains, it doesn't get to that place. When the sun is scorching, it doesn't get to that place. So that place can just be a sitting area for now. My two targets is the penthouse and then the ground floor. That is where I want to get it done as soon as possible, right? So this brings us to the end of today's episode. I really do appreciate your time spent here on the channel. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in my next episode. Let's get to it.